Hello, hello. Welcome, TZP family. Wanted to go over something that was brought to my attention from my executive assistant, Nancy, with one of her private clients. This is a response that they've received in an attempt to turn in Form 8822B. That is when you are trying to change the address of whatever address you may currently have on file from your EIN online application. And so the response was, you probably have received this as well, and you're trying to figure out what should you do. And a lot of you are asking me about completing Form 56. So let's take a look. It says, thank you for your inquiry, November 8th, 2023. Funny how I keep getting notices that have a lot to deal with my birthday. It's pretty interesting. We received your request for a change of address, but couldn't process it because it involves a fiduciary relationship. Form 56, Notice Concerning Fiduciary Relationship, is used to notify us of the creation or termination of a fiduciary relationship. Complete Form 56 and send it to the return address at the top of this letter with a completed Form 8822-B, change of address. So let's take a look at a few examples as to what that would look like. Okay, so let me stop sharing for right now. And what I want to take a look at is I'm going to make a scenario. Let's say that you want to update some information in regards to your private foreign express trust. Let's see here. Okay, so over here, we're looking at two scenarios which you'll run into. Number one, let's say you obtained your foreign 98 number and you provided your title of nobility in lieu of a real foreign trustee. A lot of you have done that, and that's perfectly fine. I did it in the very beginning. And then eventually, once I found the perfect foreign trustee to work with me, then we switched it out. Now, how I switched the information was done by a simple correspondence letter. Again, this is going back to 2016, 2017. Things have changed. Things will continue to change. Let me talk about that for a second. Some of you have come in and you've read the book, you've talked to other people, and then you're noticing there's all these changes taking place with the process. You damn right. And that's not by my decision. I wish it could stay the same. When a subject like this takes place, when you're dealing with the states, you're dealing with incomes, you're dealing with generational skipping, you're dealing with all types of things when it comes to probate. They do not want this to be, okay, everyone has figured it out and we'll just leave it like that. We're not going to make any changes to our rules and regulations. Of course, they have to do that in order to stay on top, in order to stay collecting. So we must always be vigilant, always test new things and to figure out if it works or not. So I have done a process and others have done a process that was the process long ago. It's not the same process today. Some things have changed, some things are the same. So you have to be open-minded, you have to be willing to study, and you have to be willing to know that you will make a mistake. In fact, it is a requirement. You must make a mistake, and you cannot be afraid to do that. Okay? Dealing with the IRS, if you make a mistake, it's not going to be so detrimental to where you're going to be arrested, they're coming to knock on your door, nothing like that. Unless you're doing some serious crime or that type of attention. Okay, so be willing to learn and educate. That's what this is all about. So there will be changes. You may have done your process already, and 5 years has passed. Now you want to utilize it. Maybe something has come up. The information that you learned 5 years ago doesn't work, possibly. So you stay involved in this organization to understand what can be done, what is current. Okay. So let's say in this scenario one, you have your 98 number and used your title of nobility in lieu of the real foreign trustee. Then at a later time, you purchase the services of that private fiduciary. And you need to update the IRS records for future purposes. So what we're going to do is go take a look at 8822B. You have seen me do this process before in other videos, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt to look at this again. So the very first thing that they talk about is if you are a tax-exempt organization, check here. And that will be yes. We'll check this box. Our Express Trust is a tax-exempt organization. The telltale is we have a 98 number followed by a 6 or a 7 after the dash, as you see in line 4B. So line 4A, let's say our Express Trust is Walt Disney Express Trust. The old mailing address that you provided on your SS4, 911 Twin Towers Street, New York, New York, right? We're having fun. We're making this up. New mailing address. Let's go with 220 To Infinity and Beyond Court. Let's go with Potato Head, Wisconsin. Now, the new business address, this will always be your foreign address, okay? Remember, your trust is backed by a foreign treaty, and wherever that foreign treaty is instituted or founded, your trust is administered and created, established, and governed by that treaty of that foreign country. However, it is interpreted by any of the states within the union. With that, you will fail the court test. The control test is failed when you have your foreign trustee and you have proof of that. The passport, you have the hold harmless agreement, and you have the actual trust indenture instrument itself. And if anyone were to ever deem proof of that, the hold harmless document itself is strong enough. But if a court case has taken place, has arisen, then you can provide a copy of your foreign trustee's foreign passport to show the link and the connection. If any of you who have purchased a private trustee from us and you need that, you need to include us in on what is going on with your court case so we can verify if that really needs to take place, because sometimes it does not. Okay, so the business location would be the foreign address, 5000 Magic Kingdom Way, Tokyo, Japan. The province or the county is Okinawa, and foreign postal code. Now, who is the responsible party? This would be your foreign trustee, Lord Farquaad, right? Now, box number 9, they ask for Lord Farquaad's SSN, the I-10, or an EIN. And you're going to put the word foreign here. Now, let me give you all a little update to your SS4. If you were to go to the instructions of the SS4, and there's a part where it asks you in line 7B of the SS4 to give an SSN, EIN, or I-10. You all know to put NA, it doesn't apply. Doesn't matter if you're even using your title of nobility name, okay? You have to put NA. It doesn't apply. There is no social to give. Instead of putting NA, what I want you to put is the word foreign. Look at this section here. It says File Form 8822B. Remember, this is the instructions for the SS form. File Form 8822B to report any subsequent changes to responsible parties. And that's exactly what we're doing. Now it says if you're applying for an EIN for a government entity, you may enter an EIN for the responsible party on line 7B. Otherwise, you must enter an SSN or I-10 on line 7B. But leave line 7B blank or enter NA or foreign or similar language if the responsible party doesn't have and is ineligible to obtain an SSN or I-10. Okay? So instead of writing NA, use the word foreign. It seems to be going much farther than not applicable. So that's why we write foreign here. Okay? Of course, you will provide your signature. I declare that I have examined this application to the best of my knowledge and belief it is true and correct. This is where you add a phone number if you would like. I don't. Now, who do you think signs this? This would actually be your foreign trustee. So you should have their electronic signature or a stamp made. Go ahead and provide that there. Write sole trustee, date it, and you would send this to either Kansas City or Ogden, depending on the state you are sending this from. Now, scenario 2. Suppose you have successfully obtained your trust enterprise EIN, right? We're talking about the trust enterprise, like the example that we just read. And you need to update the address. Then you're going to also file form 56. So 8822B and form 56. Okay. So let's go over to this again. Let's say this is our trust enterprise. You're going to put the trust enterprise name in box 4A. Yes, we're still going to leave this as a tax-exempt organization, because if it has a 6 or a 7 after the dash in your EIN, you're good. You are under the laws of TEFRA. 4B, you would provide the enterprise EIN. Old mailing address. This would be your iPostal or some type of postal private box address. If there is a new mailing address, you could put that there, but most likely it is the same. Business location, all right? What I want you to do is go to LoopNet, type in the county and the state in the for sale section, and pick an available address. I found one here in Staten Island. This address was provided. Okay, so you can do that. For the location, mailing addresses, iPostal or private box, but the location would be one of those addresses. If you actually have an office suite, that's fine. Now, why can you use this? Because it's just a building. There's multiple suites within that are going to be leased out. Okay, there is no lease agreement. There is no lease to purchase agreement. There is no HUD to connect to your trust enterprise. So businesses come and go with different addresses. And when they do leave a certain building, then they would have to update There are articles of organization with the Secretary of State. In this case, a trust enterprise would just have to update their trust minutes, and that does not have to be recorded anywhere. So trust me, you can do that. The responsible party would be your passive trustee. Okay, your passive trustee. Now, if you are the one to actually go online, einonline.com, with the IRS website to get your trust enterprise number, then you most likely provided your social security number or your I-10 number. And they spit out your EIN right there online for you. So if that's the case, if you are the passive trustee under the trust enterprise as a plenipotentiary of power contract agreement, then go ahead and provide your social here. It must match. All right, if you didn't do it online, you did it via the mail or fax, and you decided to give your foreign trustees information, which I don't understand why you would do that, because ultimately your trust enterprise is designed for you to go ahead and open up a protected bank account. And someone who has credentials needs to be able to show the banker that information to open the account. Foreign trustee can't do that. Okay. So yes, put your social there. Go ahead and sign, and then put your title, passive trustee. That is your 8822B for the trust enterprise. Now let's look at Form 56 for the enterprise. Let's say the enterprise is Morgan Vanderbilt Trust Enterprise. This is for whom the fiduciary is acting upon. This is part one. Give the trust enterprise EIN. There is no social for a decedent. The address of the person for whom you are acting. Let's say it's 33 DTCC Boulevard, Waters, New York, 01010. All right. What is the fiduciary's name? That would be the passive trustee. Remember, we're trying to match what we've placed on the 8822B. That would be the private trustee, and the private trustee's address would most likely be the same as the enterprise, because we're using our iPostal address or the private box address. Okay. Section A, what is the authority for a fiduciary relationship? The authority is going to be 1E, as in Edward. Valid trust instrument and amendments. Now we go to box 2A. It says, if box 1E is checked, enter the date of appointment, taking office, or assignment or transfer of assets. Let's say that is January 23rd, 2023. That's when the trust enterprise was created. Now, your foreign trustee was created much earlier than that. You probably went all the way until your 18th birthday when you started working. You probably did it within the last or a year before when taxes were a problem. Okay, doesn't matter. That's the date that will go for your foreign express trust. But for the trust enterprise, it's going to be pretty much current. Okay. Section B, type of taxes that we're dealing with. What do you want your trust enterprise to collect money for you for? That would be past income taxes. If you are employed, then you would check employment. Excise, of course, check that. And other, of course, let's say user fees and earmarked revenue, tolls, other things of that nature. Number 4, federal tax form number. Most likely, if we're dealing with our birth name and the trust enterprise and the foreign express trust, that would be 2 forms. the 1040, and the 1041. If we are doing this on behalf of a business, then we would check off box G 1120. Let us continue. We're going to skip number 5. Part 2. Check this box if you are revoking or terminating all prior notices concerning fiduciary relationships on file with the Internal Revenue Service for the same tax matters and years or periods covered by this notice concerning fiduciary relationship. That would be yes. If you have a previous tax preparer that has access to your information and you don't want that to happen anymore, then you can terminate it by checking that box. And what is the authority that allows this relationship to be terminated? That would be the trust indenture contract. Box C. We'll skip section B, we'll skip section C, and we go down to part 3. Like I said, we're not in probate, so therefore we do not have to complete part 3 for any court or administrative proceedings. Now, let's say you are in an accord and satisfaction lawsuit and you have property that is in trust. However, the mortgage is in the ins legis birth name. It would actually be the ins legis birth name that is suing the bank. And so if you're winning and you want the monies to go directly to another entity and not directly in your name, then you would fill out Form 56, give it to the actual IRS, and also give it to the court. And then you would put the name of the court, its jurisdiction, the date of the proceedings, the court case number here, and that you're stating that you want all monies that are paid out in the winnings of the course or the court to be paid out to, let's say, the trust enterprise. Okay, so the fiduciary signature, that would be the passive trustee signature, which is you, your title, passive trustee. The reason why we use passive trustee, because it really does protect liability. If you do something wrong as a trustee, it's not on you. They would have to look for a holding company that is above this trust enterprise, which is the Foreign Express Trust. And we know there's already exemptions there because of the U.S. court and control tests that were failed. So it really is an extra veil of protection. All right, so this form does not have an address where to send it to. Form 56 will be sent along with your 8822B to either one of these 2 addresses. Okay, so we'll go over a little bit more with Form 56 as we get into more information, as you guys wrap up the completion of your trust packets, so we can further go into bankruptcy law, insolvency, shelf corporations, and other things of real estate as well. So with that being said, I'll stop it here. Hope this was informative to you. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and let's engage in a conversation if you guys have further questions on 8822B with Form 56. See you next time.